Hello everyone, welcome back to Enigma's Cold War server in DCS World, and welcome back to the Sabre, where today I've got a really weird sortie that I ended up having. Now this is either my first ace in a single sortie, or I only got one kill. It got somewhere between 1 and 5 kills, depending on how generous you are with counting it. So let's jump in and I'll let you all judge exactly how well you think I did during this. So because in quite a lot of this I was just focused on the task at hand, I'll be giving a Docs debrief style voiceover here. So that was an F5 that was passing that was running away from this 21. And so I try and do a little snapshot there on 21 as he's passing, very high aspect, but I do clip his wing, and so he is a little bit damaged, but probably nothing too bad. I am using the 50 cals here, and so they do very, very little damage for a single hit. And as I'm turning around, I realise that I've got a Mirage, or a 21 stuck to my tail. As he opens fire, I can see that is a 21 with a single trail of gunfire coming there. Nicely enough, this 21 does try and turn with me here, and I can absolutely outturn him, and I can also easily outslow him here. He is already struggling with his speed. You could see him do a big wobble back there. And so his plane is getting in worse and worse condition. Mine's still really happy at these speeds. Can see he is very, very low in the air there. Just as I think, okay, this is going to be an easy start, another plane comes in and barely misses me with his pass there. So at this point I've got two 21s, both turning with me, both really, really close. The second 21 does the sensible thing here, and temporarily disengages, then comes back for another slashing attack, but doesn't quite get the lead that he needed. I decide that the second 21 is actually in a better position for me, so I try and reverse. He is a lot slower than I thought he was. I thought I was going to manage the overshoot easily there, but he has braked a lot of his energy. See, these two are now right on top of each other, which is absolutely fine for me. It means manoeuvring to keep one of them in a safe position is keeping the other in a safe position. And there they go and impact one another. One of them has lost a tail surface and a huge amount of speed there. And so I figure, well, this is about as good a position as I can be for an AIM-9B. This plane is hardly moving, can't manoeuvre, and so I get a missile off on him, and that's enough to finish the damaged plane. So there we go, first kill of the sortie, and that is the last clean kill of the sortie. Now I've still got this other guy. He doesn't seem badly damaged at all for that collision. He is still sticking in this. Here I decide to fire a Fox, but he had turned too much and then he flared, and so that missed. Fortunately, that is me completely out of sticks at this point, so I've only got guns, and as I said, the Sabre's guns aren't great. They fire a huge amount of ammo, but they are tiny for a Cold War weapon. Still trying to push this guy. I'm in a very good position here, and I just need to keep him turning, gain the distance, and I should be able to put him down. I do give him a couple of bursts here, not particularly trying to hit him, mostly trying to stop him extending away. Very often if you put a few rounds by someone's cockpit, their reaction is to turn, even if they were going to easily manage to escape by extending. Do the same thing here, trying to force him to turn. He does start to turn, which again is good for me, but then he doubles back on himself. At this point he is dragging towards his friendly airfield, which is just over the bay here. And as I'm looking at him, I notice that he is dragging me straight towards another contact here, low over the hill. And so I decided, okay, I can't catch that guy. This guy is a major threat. So go in, fire guns don't quite pull the nose up enough. A little bit used to firing the F5 and the 21's guns, which are a little higher mounted. The Sabre's guns are very low mounted, so I do just need to remember that I do need to aim a little higher than I'm used to. Either way, the first guy I was chasing has disappeared. I've lost eyes on him, so I'm just focusing on this second guy. Not in the best position here though, but I have started straightening out. Do still have 2 of them very, very close to me, with 3 more on the way, and so very exposed. I am on comms at this point with my wingman Candy, but he is still getting his plane started, and so I don't have any help immediately on its way. Now, this guy decides to go vertical, which is absolutely sensible for the MiG-21 to do, but he didn't have a huge amount of speed going into that turn, and although the Sabre doesn't have particularly good thruster-weight ratio, it can handle low speeds better than the 21 can, so I decide to follow him, constantly checking my 6 because there is a plane down there. The plane down there decides not to turn for us. As you can see, even though the 21 had the speed advantage, because he stalls out at a much, much higher speed, I end up really falling onto him here, and so his manoeuvre hasn't really done much other than brought me closer to him. I do very much need to keep an eye on my 6 though. As you can see, I'm constantly checking. And then the guy in my lead gets hit. And it turns out this was the guy on my 6 did launch. I did not see the launch, but the R3SS smacked into the other plane. So because the Sabre has such a low heat signature, it is very easy for missiles to lock onto the wrong target. And that's exactly what happened there. So yeah, I don't know if you want to count that as a manoeuvre kill or not. The plane definitely went down because I was in the air, but it was due to a red-on-red incident. So yeah, I'm quite happy that I caused a red-on-red incident there. And that's another plane down. Whether or not I can take credit is up to you. Either way, I'm not in the best situation. I still have this guy on my tail, but you can see that once again he's trying to turn with me, and 21s really do suffer here. There I got lucky. He very could have easily got me. I was trying to reverse the turn to force the overshoot. He was a little slower than I thought. Again, now as he comes through, I just keep my nose high so he can't get his nose up in time. You can see a Mirage now has joined the fight. Can tell that the 21 here is really struggling. You can see the vortices on his wings. Can see him really not managing to keep this up. At this point you can see my flaps are down, so I can handle even lower speeds. And my plane is quite stable here. Going very, very slow, but I'm quite comfortable. But this guy, you can see he's all over the place. He really should have disengaged at this point. Mirage comes in. I realise that I'm in a little bit of danger, but this guy's in a lot of danger. He goes in, absolutely taking that as a manoeuvre kill. He went in because he was trying to stay slower than a Sabre. Bad news for me is at the same time, Candy did get off the ground, but he gets rammed by a 21, and so that is him back to needing to start up again. Meanwhile, I am in close contact with a Mirage and a 21. So here's the Mirage. The Mirage doesn't particularly want to just turn with me. He does the sensible thing here, and he starts to extend out. This is what planes should be doing against the Sabre, is do go in, make your slashing attack, and then extend away. Whenever planes start to turn with the Sabre, they just get in worse and worse a situation. Now, I am really nervous here because I know other planes are around. I don't have eyes on them. And this guy is just extending out here, which makes me feel very vulnerable, feel very much like I might be getting dragged into an ambush. But he does turn here. I lose sight of him on the other side of the hill, but I know that if he's going to continue, he's going to come out on the other side of this hill, so I'm just constantly checking. I do realise, by the way, that I always check over my right shoulder by default. I don't know how I've got into this habit, it's just more comfortable for me. I really need to be careful with that and actually check my left. It's something I need to work on. Now I decided to give up on the Mirage since I spotted this 21 behind me. The 21 though is actually being engaged by an F5, so he wasn't as much of a threat as I thought he was initially. Here as I turn in on him, I feel that, okay, the Mirage has got some distance here. I am still checking because he will re-engage. I know he's going to re-engage. But if nothing else, I can put pressure on this 21. Unfortunately there, just as I check, there is this 21 right behind me as another one. He does fire a missile there. I didn't actually see it at the time. I was too busy trying to get out of his gun's range. There we actually see the missile trail. This is the point that in the flight I realised that a missile was launched. I'm kind of amused at this, that just seeing missiles that were fired at me that I didn't realise that I defended. The Sabre is a really, really hard target for missiles to hit, especially on the Caucasus rotation. It always has such a low heat signature that it's hard to get a tone in the first place. And even if you do get a tone and get a missile off, this Sabre can pull angles of attack that these missiles in this stage just can't manage. So as long as you're turning with a Sabre, you're pretty much immune to missiles. And that's why I like just staying turning, even if I'm in a big engagement like this. I don't have eyes on everyone. I know that if I keep turning, I am reasonably safe. Now once again here you can see that the 21 is making the same mistake that so many others have made before. He is doing his best to turn with me. And as with all of the others, as he turns, he's bleeding energy off. He is also losing the rate fight, so I am coming around. You can see him moving forward on my canopy. Meanwhile, I'm getting better and better angles on him. Still checking my 6, although I'm now 5 miles clear of any others, but 5 miles isn't a lot of distance when you're talking about these jets. Now he realises at this point that he is losing the rate fight. He is flaring. That does make me check my 6 more and more, because very often when planes start flaring, they're calling for help. He decides to go vertical here. Unlike the other guy, he did have a bit more speed going into that turn. I do still decide to follow him, checking my 6, making sure I am intact. I think what he's doing at this point is what is sensible. He is trying to extend here. He's just trying to extend with a bit of a climb, since he knows that he has better thrust to weight, especially in a climb. And then he's just popping these flares because he clearly doesn't know that I'm out of sticks, and he's nervous of taking an A9B while extending. Now he really is kind of done with this fight. He is looking more at this furball up ahead, and so he's just going for that. There's not too much that I can do. I can't catch him. I'm just keeping this furball on my nose, and knowing that, if nothing else, I can get in range and maybe help out the F5 that's engaged over here. So struggling to keep sight of the 21. There is a 19 in the area and a Mirage in the area. There is a friendly F5 that I can see there struggling, and so I decided, right, need to help the F5 if nothing else. And the F5 is most likely to struggle against the Farmer. The Farmer there's taking shots, Farmer's in a good position, so I decide, right, that Farmer is my new highest priority. do have contacts on my rear. I don't have a lot of time, but can probably turn in, close the distance on this farm, especially because I know he's going to be turning towards the F5, so I do have clues as to what he's going to manoeuvre before he does. That does let me pull nice lead, close in here. Don't really have a good angle, so try and roll out as I close, cross across him, and get a decent hit. And 50 cals don't do a huge amount of damage in a hit, but if they hit a critical area, they can do a fair whack. And we can see there that this guy is streaking. I've hit him somewhere centre mass. He is leaking fuel and probably has some kind of engine damage. I do try and push him here, since I figure I can take him completely out of the fight. But he starts to extend away. I may have been able to chase him down if he had engine damage, but Candy does point out that I do have a 6, and I keep turning here and see a Mirage, a fish bed behind me, 2 missile launches, outturn the missiles, rather flat out panicking at this point. This is getting quite a while to be continuously engaged without a break to kind of reset my mental state. And I've still got 3 enemies on my tail here. Candy is inbound, but not immediately here, so I am still feeling rather vulnerable. Also then realise that one of the things on me is an F5, and the F5 does definitely seem to be trying to turn with me. He may well have actually shot one of those missiles that went for me. So it might be a case of him mis-IDing. By the way, I'm having to keep defensive against the F5. My SRS was being a bit buggy on this session. For some reason I wasn't able to transmit. I think I just had the wrong session. As you can see, I've hidden the display by accident. And so I was unable to call in to tell him that he was on a friendly. Thankfully he does end up breaking off. Now, as I put pressure on that Mirage there, the Mirage tries to outstall me, or outturn me, and then he goes in. And I am claiming that as a manoeuvre kill. He did brake turn to avoid me getting guns on him, and so he goes into the ground. So that is the 4th plane that I have caused the destruction of there. Whether or not you give that to me is, again, up to you, how well you award manoeuvre kills and similar. But either way, I am causing rather a lot of havoc for Red 4 here. Now, as always, I don't get a break. Get a call from Candy that there is a plane over friendly airfield. It is taking fire here. Can see that man pads are going up over it. 2 have hit near him. And the 3rd one, I'm not sure if that was the Stinger of the F5, does slam into him, so he goes down. I get a brief moment of breathing room here. Do just check my status. I've got plenty of fuel. So I decide to just keep on going here. Do realise that there is a Mirage 3 miles away. He is very close to Candy and threatening Candy, and so decide to keep in the fight. Keep going. Don't get a break to reset myself, but at least I know I'm in a decent position. The dot up high was Candy. I spot this plane. I'm trying to ID it. It looked like a Vigan. It matched the position description from Candy for the Mirage, but as it turns, that is definitely a Vigan. So okay, I've turned onto the wrong plane. Candy's in a bit of a bad situation here, that he is very much dogfighting this Mirage. Try and call up a bogey dope there, but Candy isn't one of the contacts. But there is only one Mirage nearby, so turn towards it. Again, just trying to get eyes on here. I've lost a bit of situational awareness. Definitely some fatigue setting in just from the length of time that I've been in dogfight mode here. Do eventually see this guy passing over the coast. Get decent eyes on him. This isn't the Mirage. This is a 21. He turns in towards me, I turn towards him. We both do the same thing, try and exchange fire. I dip the nose at the last moment to avoid the collision. He also dips the nose. And so what's happened there is he has slammed into my tail. Somehow I am still alive here, but he does go down. The kill feed awards me that for a collision kill. Normally don't take collision kills, but I am alive-ish at this point. But as you can see, every time I look around, I have taken a horrendous amount of damage. His plane did burst into flames and disintegrate. His nose hit my tail, so there's nothing left of him. And as I'm looking around, I really don't have control here. I think I've got aileron control, but even then it's not great. And I end up not really being able to control this. I keep blacking out, realise that I'm a lot lower than I thought, and bail. And so that ends that. So yeah, if you count all of those, that was 5 kills, being my first 5 kill in a sortie, so first ace in a sortie. Server counted it as 2 kills. It was 2 clean, oh sorry, it was 1 clean kill. I got 1 actual guns kill with all of that, 1 missile kill with all of that. The rest was very, very messy. But yeah, hell of a fun session, hell of an exhausting sortie. But let me know what you thought, and let me know how many kills you think that I can claim coming out of that. Otherwise, I hope to catch you in the next video. Until then, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.